Hello everybody, welcome to this video, which is going to be about the topic of Orgone energy. So in the broad lens, but what I want to start off with is a concept in physics known as entrainment, and so my interpretation of that is as follows. So we have two electrical fields, let's say a cell phone and a human brain. They're both computer systems in a certain sense. This one is organic, whereas this is electronic. But they both have electrical fields that oscillate at a certain frequency, and entrainment describes what happens when the more powerful of the two fields comes into proximity of another one. Is the more powerful one will entrain the less powerful one to its frequency. So if we apply this to the human body, sort of, especially as we exist in the West, as we go out into our day to day, where our body is bombarded by all these different signals, and it's my belief that that's how cancer occurs. Is the body's own programming is becoming overpowered by the oscillation, the programming of these other, the machines such as cell phones, computers, cell phone towers, just cities in general. So, Orgone energy was posited by a scientist named Wilhelm Reich, who sort of described this ether as existing in a polarity where the positive end of the polarity being beneficial to human health, and it's my interpretation that it's beneficial in the sense that it keeps the different fields oscillating at the frequencies that they're supposed to be. It keeps them separate, so the brain, the heart, my computer, they're all kept separate so that entrainment doesn't occur. So he posited that there's this ether, and had different experiments which he had alternating layers of metal and plastic, and he claimed that this attracted this Orgone energy. And as a result of this, the FDA seemed to have a problem. And eventually what happened was a judge ruled that Reich was wrong. And this is kind of curious because for a judge to arbitrarily rule that a hypothetical phenomenon doesn't exist is to ignore the process of science while still positing a scientific concept as sort of non-existent. Like, it doesn't make sense. You can't. Scientific process can eliminate hypothesis, but a judge can't just declare it. Well, he can, but it doesn't mean anything necessarily. So this was kind of this dubious what transpired was kind of dubious, and Reich eventually died in jail, and after his death, a lot of his books were burned. This was in the 1930s, so like book burning. So anyways, I stumbled across this story, and what my interest in it was sparked by the fact that I realized that I could pretty easily test this out. I could perform one of these experiments that Reich was doing for pretty little cost, and if he was right, then things like the computer and phones and the different things that exist in our lives, I could find sort of a healthy alternative to counteract those effects. And that was essentially how I got into this process, which I'm going to now try and describe.